channel. Today, I think I'm just gonna do a reading vlog. I think that's the plan. It's Monday. I thought I would just do a vlog of what I read this week. I've done a reel before where I show what I read for a week and tell you like the page numbers, things like that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do this week, just in vlog format. I've seen Sarah Crowley do this, and I just saw Rachel Catherine do this as well. I'm off work, Ethan's off work, and it's a great day. We had a great morning, and now I think I'm gonna read. I've been watching SWAT and doing laundry and stuff, but I need to read. Well, not that I need to, I want to read. I feel like I've just been struggling picking up a book. But this past weekend I read an arc of I Think You Know by Katie Bailey, and it was so good. I loved it so much. Highly recommend. I think it's gonna be out by the time this video goes out, but loved it so much. That's the last book I read. I read it Saturday. Didn't read anything yesterday, pretty much just watched SWAT when I was home. I think I'm going to read Love Theoretically because I keep seeing such good reviews of this book, which makes me very excited because I feel like Love on the Brain didn't have good reviews when it first came out. So I want to see if it's any good. I'm on page 8, so I read a little bit of it the other day, but I haven't actually gotten really into it. So I think we're gonna start with this. It is currently 1:30 and it's been a great day so far. So let's read. Hello, it is currently 7:16, so quite a few hours later, and I thought I would give a little update. I have been watching a good bit of SWAT, so I haven't done a ton of reading, but I made a little bit of a dent in Love Theoretically. I'm on page 117, so I've read like a little over 100 pages. And I plan to read a good bit of this tonight because I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm getting to the good part. I feel like the first 70 pages were a little bit like more just an introduction, like, you know, basically just introducing the plot. And since it is about a woman in STEM, a lot of science talk, a lot of physics talk that I don't understand, and I just have to pretend I understand. But now we're getting into like the main characters have like, you know, met, don't like each other, and we're kind of going from there. And honestly, I feel like the enemies to lovers is pretty good in this book. In romance, usually enemies to lovers, like, they do like each other, but they pretend they hate each other, you know what I mean? But I feel like this, like, there's a reason why she doesn't like him. She thinks he doesn't like her, but we all know that's a lie in these kind of situations. I don't know if my update made any sense, but that's how far in I am. And I want to read for the next couple hours until I go to bed. And I'm thinking about taking this to work tomorrow and finishing in the morning. I feel like with her other books, I wanted to read them really fast once I got to like the end or like the middle-ish. Whenever they start, you know, falling in love, I wanted to keep reading it. So we'll see if that's the case with this one. But I've also been kind of in a slump, so I feel like I'm slowly getting out of my slump and reading again, which is good. I read like 2 books last week, which I guess that's great. But I feel like normally I'm reading like 3 to 4, and those 2 were like at the end of the week. So and I read them really quickly. And they were books that I had been waiting to read this year. So anyways, that's my update. Really enjoying it so far. I cannot wait for them to like have more interactions. And I think I really like Jack because I feel like he sees her. What's her name? Elsie? I didn't even tell you what the character's name is. Jack and Elsie. Elsie is very much a people pleaser, and I feel like Jack sees her as like trying to please other people, and he's like what was the quote I just read? It was so good. It says, "Not everyone wants you to be someone else, Elsie." Which is very sweet. Like, he wants her to be herself and not pretend to be someone else, to be a people pleaser. And I'm very much a people pleaser, so I relate. I'm not on this level, but I really like that in this book. So anyways, that's my update. I'm going to keep reading. It is the next day, and it is like 2 p.m. I just got off work, went to the grocery store to get stuff for supper, came home, and I'm giving you an update on my reading for the week. I will tell you first how many pages I read yesterday, because I want this to be like how many pages I read in a day, just to see how many pages I read, you know what I mean? So last night after I filmed my last clip, I read a little bit of Love Theoretically. I got to page 220. So I read from page 8 to page 220 last night. And then I read the rest of the book at work today. So I read from page 221 to 284, which is 163 pages. Also, I did finish like the last 15 on my lunch break. So some of that was on lunch, but basically I finished this book at work today, and I thought I would give a little review of it. Also, the lighting is dark because I just didn't open the windows or the blinds. Anyways, so I thought I would give a little review of Love Theoretically. I really love this book. I thought it was so good. Like, I really enjoyed it. I am not sure of my rating, to be honest, because I don't know. I'm just not sure about it, but maybe once I do my wrap up, I'll have a full rating. It's definitely 4 stars, if not higher than that. I just haven't decided if it's gonna be higher than that, if it's gonna be like a 4.5. 4.25. I don't really know. But I really, really love this book. And I thought I would give a little summary because I didn't really explain what the book's about. But basically it's about this girl named Elsie, and she is a physicist. And I really, really loved it. Honestly, I've loved all of Allie Hazelwood's books. I think they're so good. I love the science aspect. I think it's just really, really fun and interesting to read. Even though I don't really understand a lot of it, I still really, really enjoyed it. I think it's so good, so entertaining. And I feel like there's more of a plot to the story. It's not just a romance. It has like a plot to it because she's looking for a job and things like that. You get a lot more of like the physics aspects behind it. And I also think she has like the science humor, but I don't really get all of it, but I still think it was like really funny when she would like compare things, have metaphors and stuff like that. And I really liked the male main character, Jack. He was just so sweet, and I felt like he was so like patient and kind and like tender and gentle with her. And that's what I would describe this love in this book, is like sweet and tender, because he was just so patient with her, so kind with her. And I saw a post on someone's Bookstagram comparing this to Practice Makes Perfect and Yours Truly. And I didn't really know why it was compared to that, but after reading it, I think it's just the male main character. They all have a very similar way of like being kind, patient, and tender and sweet to their partners, and I just love that. So I love this. I love the main characters. I love the storyline. I love the plot. I really loved everything about it. It just didn't feel like a 5-star read, but I still really, really loved it, and I highly recommend it. It probably is my favorite of Allie Hazelwood. I don't really know, but I really enjoyed it. There is a little bit of spice in this book. I'm so sorry, my dog is chewing on a toy. There's a little bit of spice in this book, but truly not too much. And I think the plot is just really good. So really enjoyed this book. And I feel like I'm getting out of my slump, so I'm feeling good about it. Next, I'm reading a book that is probably gonna be like, I won't be able to talk much about because I'm beta reading it for Juliana Smith, who wrote From a Last Email, I Can Fix That, Baggage Claim. It's her new book, her new release that comes out. I don't really know when it comes out, but it's called Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Can't really say much about it because I'm just beta reading it. It is like the first draft-ish, but it will come out this fall. It's about brother's best friend, the second book after From a Last Email. So all I can really say about it, but I'm going to be reading that because I'm so excited. I love her books. I started at work, and also the page numbers aren't really on this because it's on a Google Doc. So can't really tell you how many pages I've read, but I will let you know when I finish it. I'm trying to read it on this iPad that Ethan's grandmother gave us because it's a lot bigger than my phone to be able to like scroll through Google Docs. So hopefully I'll be able to read it on that. It is 2:10. I'm gonna binge it for the next few hours until Ethan gets home. Very excited. I love her books so much. So
I never thought in the wildest dream I'd see you again. Never dreamed about nothing else other than you.
hello, it is now Wednesday, and I thought I would give you a little update on what I've been reading. So I finished reading or beta reading Juliana's new book that comes out this year or later this year called Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and it was so good, so cute, obsessed with it. Obviously she has to like add some stuff. I'm obviously reading it to get feedback and things like that, but I just love her book so much. That was so much fun. Thank you for letting me read your book early. It was so good. I can't wait for the book to be done and to get a physical copy because it's just so good. I'm so excited for other people to read it when it comes out because I loved it so much. It was so cute. And then this morning, I don't know what took over me, but I woke up really wanting to read this book, so that's what I'm doing, which I feel like I haven't been wanting to read, so that's a good sign. I haven't read very much of it. I'm on page 21, so very much just started it, and I think it's like 414 pages, so a decently length book. So I'm gonna read this. I'm very excited. I don't know, I was just feeling it, kind of in the mood for just a fun rom-com college hockey romance. He's a hockey player, she's a ice skater, and they both go to UCMH, which is the University of California, Maple Hill. I think is what it's called. Maple Hills. I don't know how much I'll get read because I'm going to my parents' house tonight, but I think I'm gonna read another chapter or two. It is quite disheveled. I borrowed it from the library, and it's definitely seen better days, but I'm gonna read this. I am very excited. I think it's gonna be good, and I'll keep you updated with my thoughts, how much I read today. since I have talked to you and given you an update on what I've been reading, and I had caffeine today, so I'm like on one. I had a lot I needed to do, and I needed the caffeine, so here we are. And I just had it recently, so I'm just like, I have more energy than normal, but I'm here. I know you missed me, even though you just saw me a few seconds ago, but I haven't like actually properly talked to you in a couple days. So I'm gonna give you an update on the reading because I haven't done that. So the other day, Wednesday, I was reading Icebreaker and I got to page 30. And then I don't think I read anything else that night of this. I decided to read an arc on my Kindle. I was like 16% through this book. Where's my phone? Before Wednesday. And then I was like, I'm just gonna keep reading it because the plot is very interesting, which I will get to the plot in a minute after I tell you what I read, because that's the point of this video, or how much I read. Since it's an arc, you don't really get like page numbers, you just get percentages. Sometimes a percentage. Wednesday I read 16% to 21% of the good part, and then yesterday I finished the book. So I read 21% to, 100%. And I need to talk about this book because it's literally like a new favorite of all time. Like, it's so good. Like, I'm shooketh to my core that this book was so good. Like, I love Sophie Cousin's books. I loved Before I Do so much. I read This Time Next Year, I think is what it's called. It's been a long time since I've read that, but I do remember loving that. I gave it 5 stars, but it's been so long, I need to reread it to like refresh my memory. So I really love her books, and I especially loved Before I Do because I felt like there was a specific lesson the author wanted you to learn throughout the book. And by the end, you learn so much. Like, I feel like I just learned so much through that book, and I really enjoyed it. And I got an arc of it, but I didn't read it until months later when the book was already out, and I regretted it because it was so good. And then I saw that she's coming out with this book. It comes out November 7th, and I requested it on NetGalley, and I got accepted. And the plot is just so interesting. So it's basically about this girl named Lucy. It's based in London, and she is 26 years old. She has this like job at a TV network, but she's like the assistant. Like, she just gets coffee, runs random errands, that kind of thing. She goes on bad dates with guys. Like, dating scene is just not great. She's in this like house share, so she has a lot of roommates. So basically her life is just not shaping out to be what she wanted it to be. And so one night she stumbles upon this wishing machine and wishes to be in the good part of her life. And the next day she wakes up 16 years in the future. She has a husband, she has kids, and you just kind of see her go throughout like figuring out that she's in the future, like what she's gonna do, like how to get back, all this stuff, and also learning what happened in the 16 years that she missed because she like jumps forward to the future. And literally this book like was a masterpiece from beginning to end, like so good. You just like felt what Lucy was feeling, which is honestly, it feels crazy to say that, like, because I obviously didn't go 16 years in the future, but I felt like I was like with her, and I was like feeling everything she was feeling, and like so hard to explain. Somebody on Instagram posted a review of this today, and I need to read it because I feel like it was written well, and it was really weird that we finished it like the same day. It's Lit Homebody if you don't follow her. She said, it was interesting how Cousin slowly made the reader feel okay with Lucy being in the good part, and it really felt like I was right there with Lucy trying to understand what had happened and what she was going to do, which I totally agree with. Like, you genuinely feel like this life is amazing, but then you're like, but she missed these 16 years. And so the plot was just so good, and like the main point of the book, once you get to the end, literally so good. Like, I bawled at the end. I literally sobbed. Oh, I totally filmed clips of me reading this. Love that. I filmed clips of me reading this book, and also I was cooking supper. I was like reading and cooking supper. Anyways, so you saw me read it, you saw me sob, and the end was just like perfect. Like, it was so good, and like, I don't know, the lessons you learn, it was just like, it reminded me of like how beautiful life is, like the good moments, the bad moments, the good in the bad moments, the big moments, the small moments, everything like that. It just like reminded me how beautiful life is, which I love in a book. Like, I loved it so much, and I feel like so honored. Like, when this happens, I read an arc that's so good, I feel so honored that I got to read it early because this book is so good, and I need you to go read it. Like, well, you can't, but if you have a NetGalley account, you should request it. I literally don't want to shut up about it because it's perfect. It was such a good book. Loved this book so much. Like, I cannot get over it. So that's what I read yesterday, and I haven't read anything today. So I'll let you know if I do. I do want to keep reading Icebreaker because I feel like it is really interesting, but I feel like this is just going to be like a rom-com vibe, like where I'm just like having a good time. You know what I mean? Like, this taught me something. This isn't going to teach me anything. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be a good time. The good news is I feel like I am out of my book slump, which is really great because it seems like you're probably watching this video like, sis, you're reading a lot this week. But honestly, like, I haven't been reading this much because I haven't wanted to. And I feel like it's normal for you like not to want to read because, I don't know, I don't want to force myself to read if I don't want to. But the past few days I've been like really excited to read, and I love when I pick up a book and I'm just so excited to like find out what happens. And I feel like that's how it's been with the books that I've read this week. They've just been really, really good. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm really having a good time. I will definitely do more of these if you want to see me like just read for a week, because I think they're really fun. I love watching what people read in a week, and it makes it like less stressful for me, because I feel like sometimes when reading vlogs have a theme, it makes it like not as fun because I have to read certain books for the video. Like I've started multiple videos, like themed vlogs, and just haven't continued them because I'm such a mood reader that I don't want to pick up the book that I need to read for the video, and I don't want to force myself. You know what I mean? So I will let you know if I read anything else, what I decide to read next. Hi. Hello. It is the next day. It is currently Saturday at 5:39 p.m. and I'm giving you an update because I haven't done that since yesterday when I rambled about a good part. But I want to give you a reading update of what I've read yesterday. Well, I haven't read anything today, but basically what I read yesterday. So I did pick up Icebreaker, but I didn't read very much of it. I read, I think I was on page 30 and I'm on page 39. So we're like 8 pages. So didn't make much progress in Icebreaker, but I am such a mood reader, so I decided I wanted to continue this. So I decided to continue my reread of Magnolia Parks, and I read a lot of it. I'm pretty sure I was on page 78 when I started my reread, or like when I started reading it last night, and now I'm on page 217. And I did not read any today, or haven't yet. But I plan to read the rest of the night and get a good chunk of this read. But yes, I'm rereading and annotating Magnolia Parks. I've read the whole series, or what's out of it so far, and I'm obsessed with the series, like so much. But fun fact, I read Magnolia Parks when it first came out, like in 2020 or 2021 is when this book first came out, and I read it on my Kindle and didn't love it. Honestly, like I didn't know what to expect going into it. Like I genuinely thought it was like a happy romance with a happily ever after. It's not what this book is. It's very toxic. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like not like any other romance. So going into it with those expectations was not good, because I clearly didn't enjoy it, because I was expecting to get a happy romance where they, you know, it's just like a normal romance. That's not what this book was, and so I didn't enjoy it. And I didn't really remember much that happened in this book. I mean, I knew the main plot points, but I pretty much didn't remember what happened. And then I picked up Daisy Hates in January and loved it, and then I read the second Magnolia Parks and second Daisy Hates and loved them so much. And so I was like, I need to reread Magnolia Parks first to annotate it because I have the physical copy, but also because I don't remember what happened. And I feel like I was so like removed from reading this. Like when I read it, I was removed from the characters. I didn't really like get the point, and I was just trying to finish it. But now, since I know the characters, I feel like I'm like eating it up and loving it so much. Literally so much. I've been annotating the crap out of this, like highlighting so much, and it's so good. It's very toxic, but also because I've read Magnolia Parks 2, or like really the whole series, I know what's to come, and so it makes like these scenes like less heartbreaking. Well, they're still heartbreaking, it's still very painful, but it's not as painful because I know like what's to come. Well, in a good and bad way. But like I know like what happens with this couple, why BJ, the main character, does things that he does. If you don't know, it's about Magnolia and BJ. It's a very toxic relationship, back and forth situation, but it's like childhood friends to lovers because they like have grown up together. They were together for years. It's like soulmate kind of love. Like Magnolia and BJ are like absolutely like I would die if you died, like literally like soulmate love. That's what Magnolia Parks is. And then Daisy Hates is more of a mafia romance because it's about Christian, Julian, and Daisy. So you're getting more of that, but they also intertwine. So Daisy Hates is the same timeline as Magnolia Parks, just from different points of view. And then that's the same with Magnolia Parks 2 and Daisy Hates 2. So yeah, anyways, but I'm rereading this. That's what I'm doing. And I'm literally like thought about this all day long today. Literally all day long. I've also been listening to the playlist that Sarah Curley made on Spotify with this, and the experience is just like nothing else. So that's what I've been doing. I'm going to continue this. I'm gonna get a shower and then continue rereading this, annotating, and I'm so excited. I'm like having the best time of my life reading this, even though it's so painful. It's so good. Okay, that's all. It is now Sunday and it is 5:49. I think I updated around the same time yesterday, but I wanted to tell you what I read yesterday. I did end up finishing Magnolia Parks. I did finish it a little after midnight, so was that considered pages for Sunday? I don't really know, but I'm considering it that I finished it on Saturday because it was pretty much Saturday. Honestly, I was like, maybe I won't finish it. And then I got to page like 400 and because it's almost 500 pages. And I was like, no, I'm finishing this today, last night. So I did. It was my reread. I annotated it. I didn't put as many tabs because honestly, I'm almost out. And I just like highlighted a ton. Like I feel like every page pretty much I was highlighting or underlining. So I was like, I'm not gonna tab everything because that would have a frick ton of tabs. So I just have tabs on like important parts. I loved it so much. And it's honestly crazy because when I first read this, like I didn't love it. Like honestly, don't think I loved anything about it because it was just so toxic and so back and forth. But now, since I've read the rest of the series and like know these characters, I feel like it was so enjoyable because I got to see them like where they originated and like just the very beginning before you like understand why they do the things they do. Like if you've read this first book and you didn't enjoy it and you don't like the characters, I feel like you should definitely continue because you learn so much more about them as the books continue to like explain why they do the things they do. Because I feel like on Goodreads, when I was looking at the ratings, this book is not rated very well. It's like under 4 stars, but all the other ones are rated above 4 stars. And I think it's because people read this one and they're like, what was that? And then they don't continue it, but the rest of the series gets better and better. I did still give this 5 stars because I just think the writing is literally incredible. Like I don't know how Jessa does it. Like this quote, I'll never be safe with him even if I'm always safe next to him. Like what? These quotes are probably gonna make you sad, but you know, it's fine. It's very like, it is heart-wrenching and toxic, but it's also like beautiful, like the way they love each other. Because I feel like you can't judge the series based on this book because it just gets so much better. And you like, literally when you read this book, you know nothing about these characters until you get to the next books. And I'm assuming I'll feel the same way when I read Magnolia Parks 3 when it comes out. Like you don't know these characters. Like you learn so much about them in Magnolia Parks 2. So if you read this first one and you didn't like it, I definitely recommend continuing because it gets better and I feel like it gets less toxic as you go. And if you know me, you know I like sweet, cute rom-coms. It's kind of my vibe, like wholesome rom-coms. And I'm like, I love these books. They're some of my favorite, literally of all time. Like favorites of all time. The way they make me feel is insane. Okay, I'm gonna read it. This is a pretty popular quote, I feel like, but it's so good. To the bone, loved him, cut me and I'd bleed him. How much I needed him, still needed him, would forever, always, never, couldn't, even if I tried, needed him. And I remember being deeply afraid of what my life would be like without him in it. Wow, so good. He is a beautiful part of life, I suppose. Painful things can still be beautiful things, in case you didn't know. I love her in the dark. I down and out love her in all spectrums of light, even the absence of it. And I did go back and read a little bit of like the end of Daisy Hates because you get a little bit of Magnolia in that one at the very end. And then the beginning of Magnolia Parks 2, just kind of refresh my memory because obviously you learn a lot of things in Magnolia Parks too. So I like refreshed my memory there, but I loved this book so much and it was like painful, but so good. And I'm so happy that I reread it because like I just feel so much more for these characters because I like read the first one and I'd already read the first one, but now I really read it and I like just feel like I know these characters so much. So because BJ and I are unquantifiable, it's the nuances of all the ways we love each other and have loved each other and keep on accidentally loving each other, and it's the intricacies of our threads we've knotted together, and it's the secrets we know about each other, and it's that one broken heart we share. How does she do this? Like I don't understand. Because she's yours, and even when she isn't, she is. I can't. Of course we're going to work. Even if I'm a round peg and he's a square hole, I don't care. I'll shave down the edges of myself to keep him. I'd do anything for him. I'm not doing well. I'm just not. Wow, this book is so good and I just cannot believe Jess's writing. Like it's insane. So anyways, I am so happy that I reread this and I feel like I've been rereading it for a while. I think I started my reread a couple months ago and I finally finished it. I just read like 40 pages at a time and I finally finished it. So love that for me. I need to tab my Daisy Hates book because that's the only one I haven't annotated. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just go through and like annotate my favorite parts instead of rereading it because I don't know if I want to look through that pain again because it's been so recent. It's fresh. That pain is fresh. I'm going to start or continue Icebreaker because I need to finish it by Wednesday because it's due at the library then. Alrighty, it is time to do a little wrap up of what I read this week, how many pages each day, all that good stuff. So on Monday, I read Love Theoretically, page 8 to 220, so 212 pages. And then on Tuesday, I finished this book. I read 221 to 384, 163 pages. And then also on Tuesday, I beta read Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Juliana Smith on Google Docs. On Wednesday, I started Icebreaker. I read page 1 to 29, but I had to return that book to the library. I did already finish that book, since I filmed this video. So I'll let you know my thoughts in my wrap up coming in like a week. And then I also read 16% to 21% of The Good Part, which is an arc. And then on Thursday I read 21% to 100%. I finished The Good Part. Friday I read pages 30 to 38 of Icebreaker. And then I started or continued my reread of Magnolia Parks. I read page 78 to 216, which is 138 pages. And then on Saturday I finished Magnolia Parks, page 217 to 494, which is 277 pages. So that is the most I read all week, I think, was Saturday. And then on Sunday, I read Icebreaker, page 39 to 55. So didn't read very much on, I didn't even put how many pages that is. 16 pages I read on Sunday. So as you can see, there was kind of like, some days I read a lot more, some days I read a lot less. You know, it just depends on the day. Also, I feel like this week, this clip is so chaotic because my dogs won't calm down. But anyways, this week I feel like I was getting out of my reading slump, so I was very excited to read, so I read a lot more. But the week prior to that, I didn't read very much. There's multiple days where I didn't read at all. So that's very normal. I feel like I don't want you to take away from this video that you should read 200 pages a day because that's not realistic. But I feel like I had a lot of good books this week and I was very excited to read them. That is my reading week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want me to do another one. I feel like I had such a good reading week. It was really fun. I had some rereads, some arcs, and then also some new books. But anyways, I'm gonna end this very quickly because my dogs won't calm down. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so thankful for you and I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye.